We've had very furtive meetings, probably about 4 or 5 meetings in the House Republican caucus to discuss this. One bill or two. The president wants one bill. I think the vast majority of members in the House will accede and agree to that as one bill, but we're going to have to do a count. You're absolutely right. We will have a one-vote majority in the House, provided everyone shows up on both sides, until April, when the 2 Florida seats will be filled. They'll be filled by Republicans. Ultimately, we'll have about a 4-seat majority. But it's going to be difficult. It's a process. I applaud the president and the House and Senate leaders for discussing reconciliation, what will be in, what will be out, what we can do and what we can't do. I'm an appropriator. We have appropriations to get done. That cannot be done through reconciliation. So actually refining and defining the process is critically important, and making sure that we meet and move forward. So can we get it done? Yes. I applaud all of our leadership and President Trump for being very methodical in the way he's gone about this. We're laying everything out, transparency for everybody in both parties, and more importantly for the American people.
Well, that said, Congressman, and it's good to have you back in Washington and with us here on Bloomberg. What does that mean when you look at the calendar? What's realistic? Mike Johnson says he wants votes by the end of February, but you just invoked regular order. If we're going to actually go through the real budgeting process and handle reconciliation separately, manage the debt ceiling, is that realistic?
Well, it's yet to be seen whether or not the debt ceiling will be part of reconciliation. Under the terms of reconciliation, if we do debt ceiling that way, we will be obligated by law to pick a specific number. Some members will have an aversion towards that. Some of our more conservative members might not want to put a number on that. I don't know where the president stands on that, but these are ongoing investigations. Again, if it's one big bill, what will be in, what will be out? There'll be certain things that will be less palliative to some of the members that may not get in the big bill. So we're just going to have to wait and see what we can get the 218 with, where the votes are. And the best part about it is we go through a very specific whipping process. By that I mean every member will be asked where they're going to be on reconciliation and why and what their thoughts are. If they are in a no position, what can we do to get them to yes? What do they want in or out of the bill? So we do have time. It is shortened field, but we are being very careful and very thoughtful. Again, we've had 3 or 4 meetings already on this. All have been very furtive, all have been productive, and we're listening to our membership from top to bottom.
Well, and of course, this is all what the executive branch and legislative branch will be working on together. But as Joe and I were describing, I'm sure you heard, Congressman, Donald Trump has taken a lot of action already through the power of the executive, including announcing what he calls a national energy emergency, as outlined in his inaugural address yesterday. Let's listen.
The inflation crisis was caused by massive overspending and escalating energy prices, and that is why today I will also declare a national energy emergency. We will drill, baby, drill.
Congressman, is drill, baby, drill enough to get not just energy prices, but prices across the board down? And what role do other forms of energy, like wind, for example, which the president also issued orders pulling back on yesterday, play in this?
I'm glad you asked me this question because this is my wheelhouse. I chair the Energy and Water Subcommittee of Appropriations. So I fund the Department of Energy, all of the energy initiatives. I chair 8 congressional caucuses dealing with energy. I just launched the American Dominance in Energy Caucus with Democrats and Republicans. To answer this question, drill, baby, drill is a great start. We need to utilize our oil, our gas, our abundant fossil fuels. I am a champion of nuclear. I'm the nuclear congressperson in either house. I work with people across the aisle. We need new nuclear. We need geothermal. We need abundant energy in America. If we do not act, and I applaud President Trump for being so aggressive on energy, and there is an energy emergency because we're going to need energy to propel AI. We're going to need energy to propel our great manufacturing boom in this country. We want to make absolutely certain that we have abundant energy. It will be oil, it will be gas, it will be nuclear, geothermal, solar will have a place. So we want to make sure we have abundant energy, but it's got to be common sense, abundant energy.
Well, we've established the need, Congressman, and we've talked about this with you more than once here on Bloomberg TV and radio. You look at stocks like Constellation taking off here. We know the demand is there. We also know that the red tape is there. What did Donald Trump do in those executive orders yesterday that will actually lead to a new nuclear power plant in this country?
Well, actually, fortunately, if you look at the fiscal 2025 budget, which I wrote for the energy and water bill in the House, it proposes close to $9 billion in new funding for new nuclear. In terms of executive orders, he's going to make it easier for all energy companies to do business. But as we focus somewhat in a parochial sense on nuclear, we've got to be wise about it. There's a lot of designs out there. There's a lot of different fuel systems, Generation 3, Generation 4. We've got to choose wisely. I've already spoken with Secretary Wright, incoming Secretary Wright. He has yet to be confirmed. He and I have spoken. Secretary Burgum and I have spoken. We are going to work together to make sure that it's economically feasible. But the key is going to be, yesterday, I believe President Trump named the new Nuclear Regulatory Commission chair. That is going to be very important. Why? The Nuclear Regulatory Commission is important for safe nuclear. Nuclear is safe, but they need to move in a more swift fashion. They're too slow, they're too lethargic. We have got to get going. Why? Russia, China, even our friends, the French and the South Koreans and the Canadians, are moving ahead of us. If we focus, and I know one thing about President Trump, he will focus on getting it done right, new nuclear will boom in America.
Congressman, just quickly before we let you go, we only have about 45 seconds here, but on January 6, 2021, you called it a sad day and condemned the actions that took place. Do you have a reaction, sir, to the pardon of the more than 1,500 people who were convicted of crimes on that day?
Well, as a member of the legislative branch, I had been on the House floor that day, was subject to a bomb threat in my office where my whole staff had to leave. That does not get talked about a lot. But the reality is, I'm going to defer to President Trump on the pardons. That is something of the executive branch. I'm in the legislative branch. As a constitutionalist, I will defer to President Trump and his judgment.
All right.
He had a great first day. I hope he has a great 4 years, and I'm here to help him.